Hi, this is Katie, and thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast. And today I wanted to talk about the word normal. And the very first definition of this word, at least in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is conforming to a type, standard, or regular pattern characterized by that which is considered usual, typical, or routine. And in recent years, many people have argued, let's change from using the word normal into using the word typical, because there's kind of this unmasking of romanticizing the word normal when you are saying typical. Typical usually relies more on numbers and facts, and you can actually dig in a little bit more to see if there's a bell curve of this is what a percentage of people experience or have or going through, whatever it is. And then seeing how there are many differences, though, that are on the edges of the bell curve that is just a person's experience and not a binary of what is right or wrong. When we unmask the word normal, when we take that away, we are taking away this binary. And thinking of like what is most valued is what is good, is what is normal. And if you're outside, it's kind of normal is creating a container that excludes, that says, if you're not inside of this, then you're not worthy. What really got me going on this was there was a reel being shared saying, hey, here is a soundbite that you should use and spread widely to showcase your services that you can help people. And I was like, what? So the soundbite says in what I perceive as a masculine voice, it's a deeper voice, is they say, that's not normal, and I think you should get some help or something. And I immediately was like, whoa, okay. I have a lot of feelings coming up for this. And I had to kind of take some time and root through what it was that I was experiencing hearing this. First of all, when I hear people using the word normal, I don't automatically say like, oh my goodness, you're so wrong, because that's like me saying, it's not normal for you to say the word normal. It's just using the same tactic they're using. And what I tend to look at, how I look at it as, oh, here, let me like say, why don't you consider using, a slightly different word? Typical is a really good one because it really includes a whole lot more people. Or I just let it go because it just depends on the situation. But when I heard this, I was like, wait, this is something that honestly, it was in the visual of the reel was a white woman, able-bodied, presenting feminine, that she was in a position to be highly valued on the social media platform anyway, and was saying, yeah, use this, this is going to be a trending type audio that people are going to be using, so get ahead on this. And this is where I saw the danger in it, right? Is like, so now you're saying hundreds of people, because I don't know her, but she had a pretty good following and she likes to help people create reels. That many other people are going to go out and use this audio saying, that's not normal, and I think you should get some help or something. that this audio is going to be repeated over and over and over, to used in a variety of different ways. It can be used for health standards. It could be like, shunning people who are disabled. It could be saying that mental health, there is a normal and an abnormal, and that, if you need to get help or something. I mean, I am all for getting mental health therapy and mental support. It's not that I'm against that, is that this soundbite is going to be creating a binary and spreading out that people feel outside of the norm when there is no such thing as a norm. And that people will be included and people will be excluded, and they will also be validated for being included and romanticized that is what is more worthy and being put up higher than other people. And I even part of it was saying, like, here's a male's voice dictating, a masculine voice dictating what is normal and appropriate and valued and deemed worthy in this society. So there was a lot of different things I was responding to. And I had to kind of like really search and detangle this, but I still feel very strongly that there is no normal. For the longest time in health, seeing, who is healthy, they use the BMI index and of like who is obese or isn't, and they set it upon a white male body of saying like, this is the ideal and norm, and we're going to say anyone who doesn't fall in line with that is abnormal. Again, you're using a very binary system of what is good and bad. And I'm not going to get into like all the politics over BMI stuff, because I could go into that for a whole episode. But it shouldn't be used, right? This whole like a white male standard shouldn't be how we measure everybody else in society. And that's what so many people who are non-binary or who are I think of them first because I find that they are talking most about what it's like to live outside of a black and white system, a non yes or no, or like that it's one way or the other. These are people who are like, I'm neither, and that's beautiful. And we can take that message to so many other industries, thought processes, how we approach life every single day. It is not one way or the other. What you establish in your own life, you may call it normal for you, but it's typical for you. It is what happens when you have a good day. And there's many times when you have a not so good day, meaning you might feel less supported. You might feel that your body is not adapting well to the circumstances, whatever it is, that it feels more like you're struggling through that day. Doesn't mean it's abnormal. If we label it as like, well, I have my normal days and my abnormal days, then we're not seeing that the beauty of life is that it fluctuates and we don't have control over a lot of things, and we don't have infinite energy, and we need to look at it as this is just how life is, and how many diverse thoughts and beings are here around us reminds us that we're all worthy and we're all valuable. And that sometimes we assign a morality to whether something is normal or not. And just because we think like, oh, well, normal is more moral. Normal was just, if we translate that into typical, it's actually what was typically happening. So if we even just look at the environment, as we, progressed over this last century of like making more things and polluting the environment more, that was normalized. So let's remove that word. That was typicalized. And it meant that a lot of people were participating, and I'm still removing like who was causing it. I'm not saying like it was everyone at the bottom causing it, because it was a lot of corporation driven, but saying like this, because we were all following each other and climate change has gotten worse, it didn't make the normal, I'm trying to think, the normal more valuable, that it was more morality based. It was that everyone was following that direction for monetary value, for power, for whatever. Just because a lot of people were doing it didn't make it morally better, I guess is how I should say it. So that is my rant on the word normal. And I really challenge you to try just removing it from your everyday vernacular of just using the word typical, just trying to exchange that word out at least, and maybe coming up with some other words that feel the best to you to help include more people, to include more ideas, to be open to different ideas, so that there isn't this binary going on of what is good and what is bad. So I hope that helps. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because I don't think this is the last podcast I'm going to be doing on this. I have hesitated on doing this one for a while. I've always kind of felt this one, but when I saw this reel, I knew I had to talk about it. So please email me at listen@mysensesmyspace.com. If you have more thoughts on this, I would love to hear them. I would love to share them in a future episode, because I want to learn what other existences of exchanging normal for new words besides typical. I feel much better using the word typical, but I would love to hear other words that you like to use instead. So thank you for joining me. And until next time, thanks for listening to the My Senses, My Space podcast.